Welcome back to Ben's Book Club.
Today, we're diving into the book Lateral Thinking, a textbook of creativity by Edward de Bono. And yeah, it was originally published way back in 1970, but trust me, its ideas have never been more relevant.
You know that feeling, right? Where you're just staring at a problem, you've tried all the logical stuff, and you just keep hitting the same wall over and over again. It's so frustrating. Well, what de Bono argues is that's not a personal failure. It's actually just how our brains are wired.
Okay, so our brains are absolutely incredible. I mean, to deal with the sheer flood of information every single day, they create these little mental shortcuts, these patterns, and that's fantastic for efficiency. It's why you don't have to relearn how to tie your shoes every morning. But there's a huge downside. It can trap us.
De Bono has this amazing way of explaining it. Think of your mind like a landscape, maybe a soft field after it rains. The first time a thought happens, it's like a little trickle of water creating a tiny channel. Well, the next time a similar thought comes along, the water just naturally flows down that same channel, making it a little deeper. And over time, you end up with these massive, deep riverbeds of thought that are almost impossible to get out of.
And this default mode of thinking, the one that digs those grooves deeper and deeper, that's what de Bono calls vertical thinking. It's the logic we all learned in school. Step by step, analytical, always trying to be right. It's super powerful and totally necessary for developing ideas we already have, but it's just awful at coming up with brand new ones.
So, if our default setting is just to dig that same old hole deeper, what's the answer? Well, de Bono says we don't need to throw logic out the window, not at all. We just need to add a second, complementary way of thinking. We need a way to deliberately hop out of those deep grooves and, start digging somewhere else entirely. And here it is, side by side. Vertical thinking, our old friend logic, follows the most likely, obvious path because it wants to be right. It's all about analysis. But lateral thinking, that's all about exploring the weird, unlikely paths just to be different. It makes these wild jumps, and here's the crucial part. You need both. Logic is what you use to polish the diamond, but lateral thinking is how you find the diamond in the first place.
This right here, this is the whole book in one perfect sentence. It's so simple, right? If you're digging for oil and you're not finding any, making the same hole a mile deeper probably isn't the answer. The real solution might be to just start a new hole a few feet to the left.
Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it? This isn't just a philosophy book. De Bono gave us a whole toolkit with real, practical techniques you can learn.
The first tool is one of my absolute favorites. De Bono literally invented a new word, po. Think of it like a linguistic signal. When you say po, you're telling everyone, hey, what I'm about to say is deliberately absurd and probably wrong, but let's just see where it goes. It's like a get-out-of-jail-free card for your brain.
Here's the classic example. Po. Cars should have square wheels. Logically, that's a terrible, ridiculous idea. But if we use it as a provocation, a stepping stone, what happens? Okay, square wheels mean a really bumpy ride, which suddenly gets you thinking about new kinds of advanced suspension. They'd have totally different grip, which leads to new ideas about braking or traction. You see? The crazy idea isn't the destination, it's the vehicle that gets you somewhere new.
So the process is pretty simple. First, you state the impossible. Then, and this is the key, you practice what he calls movement. You don't judge the idea, you don't analyze if it's right or wrong, you just move forward with it. You follow its strange logic and see what new concepts pop out. This lets you use an intermediate impossible to land on something genuinely useful.
All right, now for a technique that sounds completely bonkers, but it is shockingly effective. It's called random entry. You literally take the problem you're working on, and you just slam a completely random word into it. Why? To force your brain to make new connections it would never have made otherwise.
Let's try it right now. Problem: how to market a podcast. Random word, let's say spoon. Okay, spoon. What's our brain do? Well, spoon scoops things up. Maybe we could scoop up the best little moments from our shows into short clips. A spoon measures things. Maybe we could offer bite-sized episodes, perfectly measured for a commute. See? It immediately forces you off that tired old path of just thinking about social media ads.
And the toolkit is deep. I mean, there's so much more. You can challenge every single assumption, even the ones that seem totally obvious. You can use the reversal method, just flip the whole problem on its head. Or you can practice suspended judgment, where you just focus on generating a huge quantity of ideas without ever worrying about their quality, at least not at first.
Now you might be thinking, okay, this is a cool book from the 70s, but what does this have to do with my life right now? And the answer is,
Oh, it has everything to do with it, especially now. Think about it. What is AI just incredibly good at? Logical, step-by-step, analytical processing. And AI can dig that same hole deeper, faster, and more efficiently than any human could ever dream of. That kind of vertical thinking, it's quickly becoming a commodity.
So this is where our human advantage lies. It's in something called insight restructuring, looking at the same old data and seeing a totally new picture. It's in challenging the why, questioning the fundamental rules that a machine just has to accept. It's about generating something truly new, not just optimizing what's old. And it's about escaping our own concept prisons, breaking free from the outdated frameworks we build for ourselves.
So to wrap this all up, let's end with one final provocation, just for you to think about.
Remember this number, 2, because de Bono's ultimate lesson isn't that creativity is somehow better than logic. It's that you need 2 distinct modes of thinking to be a complete thinker. You need the raw power of vertical thinking to refine, to execute, to make things happen. But you also need the generative, spark-creating power of lateral thinking to come up with something new in the first place. And that brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. Ask yourself this. What is one fundamental rule or assumption in your work or even in your life that you just follow every day without thinking? Something so basic you've never even thought to challenge it. Take a moment this week and just ask, why? You might be really surprised where that question takes you. Subscribe so you don't miss an episode.